What is up, YouTube, and welcome to episode 57 of the Chaos Daily. Let's get into it. So, today, what are we doing today? Well, my phone. My phone is my camera, right? So, when I'm not in here doing this, talking to you with this camera, I'm in the other room talking with, well, no talking, because the printer is loud as hell. Let's be honest, the Phenom is a jet engine. Do I care? No, because it's awesome. The problem is, I can't, I'm having some trouble at recording at the moment because this is the setup I'm using. Just look at this monstrosity. Yes, I know it is a sin. I have a camera grade tripod that I picked up at a charity shop for very cheap, but no DSLR or any real camera gear, and I'm using my phone for recording. This is the phone that I use. This is a Doogee S95? Doogee. Sexy Cyborg Naomi. She did a video on this. That's the reason why I bought it, because of her review on this phone, and I thought that's a perfect phone for me. At the time I was truck driving and I needed something that was rugged, solid, and could deal with all the things that I wanted to do. For instance, it's great for audiobooks. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I can't always drive with headphones or earpieces because I need to be able to be hearing what is going on around me. I'm a truck driver, you have to be observant, you have to be really observant of what's going on, otherwise, well, you kill people. So yeah, being able to, do this and attach a set of speakers to the phone was amazing. There's built-in magnets. Also, there's this battery adapter, and that fits on there too. This is amazing. I mean, that's a 4,500 milliamp hour battery, and then the phone itself has something like a 3,000 milliamp hour battery in it as well. So it's overkill, which I like. I love overkill. Overkill should be like the motto of every human being. The more we overkill, the more ahead we get, right? Right, anyways. So I use this for recording. It has great camera quality. The audio quality is meh, but I now have a USB Type-C lavalier mic. Lavalier mic. The microphone that you see on YouTube is that they clip to their, lapel. It's a lavalier mic. Whatever. Anyways, so I had that attachment so I can record good audio with this phone when I'm recording. But as you saw, I'm using this monstrosity of a tripod. That's a great tripod, but now I've got like all sorts of other janky stuff, all like clamped with, wood clamps, grip clamps and stuff, just to try and get some of those shots when I'm out in the workshop. And I need the versatility of being able to record something straight on. For instance, if I'm, the camera's off to the side of me and I'm working on something, I need it over my shoulder to see what I'm doing ahead of me. But when I'm working on the bench, I need it pointing down so that it can see what I'm working on, and then you get that top-down bench sort of view. So I need a mount that is adaptable to being able to point and shoot, as well as top-down shoot, as well as being able to, maneuver. I have to get camera angles from all sorts of different, directions and angles in all the shots, just all over the place, right? So it needs to be versatile, it needs to be adaptive, it needs to be able to come in and out and down and up and swivel and turn and everything. It needs to do all the things. Hashtag all the things. Joe, you're awesome. I love your stuff. Anyways, so because this awesome phone has built-in magnets in the backplate, I have some big fat magnets. These big fat magnets. You can see they're now attached to the points. There are plenty more. There's some on the side here. There's one at the top here. I won't need all of those. Just these 4 will be enough. And because these are on the flat plate of the phone, it makes designing it easier. This phone has a really interesting sort of rugged, multi-dimensional sort of profile, which makes designing something like this a little bit more difficult and tricky. There's all sorts of profiles and shapes and angles to it. So it's not just a matter of, designing something that fits like this, but something that can just fit to these 4 points, which are on the same plane and flat, as well as having maybe some edges so that when it clips on, it's got sort of a cup that holds it. It keeps the front of the phone clear so that I can still see the screen and, tap and do stuff and make changes in settings, as well as keeping the camera portion free. That's a good start. So that means I can walk in there, I can bring my phone with me, and I can just slap it into the mount and it clips in place. The next big thing is that mount has to sit somehow like this. It needs to hold the phone like this so that I can record like this. And it also needs to twist down so that it can look down on the bench. And that's not too difficult. That's just a hinge with, a knob or something to tighten it so that it clips in place or something, or I just make the tolerances nice and tight and it works just like that. So that's going to be the project for today. But before we get into that, I want to go over what I've done with the Albatross, because the first sections of wings are done. I printed them in a completely different orientation. I tried tried something out, something different, something wacky, something I thought, that'll work, but it just was a lot more time and effort in setting up the supports for it. So let me go grab those out of the curing station and we'll have a look. And here it is. Look at that. So these turned out pretty good. I printed them in this orientation. So all the support material was on this surface and the trailing edge, as well as a few spots on the underside of the wing. You don't really want to make support material attach points to the top surface. The higher velocity airflow over the top surface of a wing. So this needs to be as smooth as possible. The underside, you can get away with things like, big gaping servo hatches because you have much lower velocity airflow over here, and most of your lift is actually generated from negative pressure generated by high velocity air on the top surface of the wing. But we're not going to get into that because there's always been this big debate about how lift is generated in a wing, and a lot of people say one thing, a lot of people say another thing, and then you got the crazy people that say something else that actually makes a lot more sense, but they're crazy people, so we don't listen to them, right? Right, okay, anyways, so yeah, this turned out much better. Like, for instance, we have the entire section, right? Before, we were trying to print 2 sections for both sides, so 4 sections total, and getting nothing. So, being able to print 2 sections on both sides, that worked. That turned out great. Now, I've got all of the support bars and everything in here, just to show you, how light these things are. Like, they're amazing. All the things, they fit nice and snug. These ones are a bit tighter, but I wanted them to be a bit tighter, but they fit nonetheless. And the main spar, that's a bit snug, which is good. All in all, structurally, they turned out great. There are a couple of issues. So, the usual, weird print errors, some holes here and there, and we get some weird warping. You can see that, so especially on this side here, that's no bueno. That I can fix though. That has a lot to do with the internal ribs. Not so much the spacing of the ribs, but the thickness of the ribs. Where it's weird because in most places it's fine, but in some sections it's sort of, the ribs collapse. And then you get this weird bubbling and warping where it's not holding its structure where it should be. But it's good to see that where it does hold its structure, 90% of this bottom surface is nice and smooth. There's no errors in here. This is all beautiful. And then for the most part on the top surface, especially on that leading edge, that's actually pretty good. It's only here in this section here and this section here. Now, going by what else is internally in the wing, I can pretty much figure out what's causing these issues and I can make adjustments to change that. But to be honest, this is flyable. I can fly with this. I'll put some tape over those holes with some resin underneath them, hit them with a UV light, peel the tape off, and you've got a closed skin. Not a huge issue. These turned out great. I'm super happy with these. Let's go put them on the Albatross. And slowly but surely, it is growing. I have enough there for me to attach the ailerons. The wing root sections are now attached, and it's really starting to come together. That's incredible. That is seriously incredible. I'm beyond words right now. I'm blown away. Just give me a minute. Whew. Okay, I'm back. All right. So, let's get back to what we were talking about. Camera mount. Let's jump into Inventor and see what I can get done.
I can show you what love's supposed to feel like. I can show you what love's supposed to be. I can show you what love's supposed to feel like. I can show you, yeah. I can show you, yeah. Yeah.
And there you go. I'm just going to keep it simple for now. I want to test print it first, get a test print, put the magnets in it, fit it, see how it fits, and then I can start getting more defined measurements off of that once it's in place on the phone. Because, yeah, like I mentioned, the phone just has a really funky backplate shape. It's not flat, and it's got all sorts of angles and weird shapes. So just getting it to align up inside this groove on this flat part of the backplate is probably the most important thing first. And then from having it on there with the magnets, I can then measure from that to the edges around the USB Type-C area. I've got to make spaces for the buttons and stuff. You saw there I was trying to make those extension side pieces and everything, and then I remembered, oh shit, all the buttons and everything are in the way. So I should probably wait on doing that until I have something that's attached to the phone, and I can get measurements from that then more accurately. In other news, some post arrived today. Specifically, this bad boy. This is the 500 kilogram tensile or strain gauge that I ordered for the tensile testing machine, which is sitting over there. I've been waiting for this. I'm still waiting for a couple of other things to get measurements off of these things so that I can design the mounts and all the rest of the stuff that I have to print. That's going to be part of that machine. And then we can really start doing some analytic design choices based on the results of testing the different ratios of resins and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really happy with this, that this turned out. The quality of this, from what I saw in the picture on AliExpress to what I'm seeing in person, is a big difference. This looks like much better quality than the picture that they have on their webpage. So yeah, I'm super happy. 500 kilograms is a little bit overkill. But I do intend on doing some tensile testing of composite materials in the future, doing carbon fibers and Kevlars and stuff with these resins and other resins and stuff like that. That would be interesting to get into, testing that, get some real world data on that sort of stuff. So yeah, I thought I should probably future-proof and just go with something bigger. Stefan from CNC Kitchen, I believe he's using a 500 kilogram unit as well, which is also overkill. He says he never gets it over like 120, 200 kilograms. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get up to that 200 kilogram range with some of the materials that I'll be testing in the meantime before I even get into the composite stuff. So just getting the 500 kilogram thing seemed like a smart choice to me. So that arrived. Also a whole bunch of fitting hardware, screws, nuts and washers and stuff like that arrived. So I've installed the heating element in the printer. And on top of that, I also received the mirror vinyl for the curing chamber. So look out for the UV curing chamber video when that comes out, because oh boy, that's gonna be cool. Yeah, I ran out of carbon fiber wrap for the other parts though, so I had to order some more of that, so that's more of a delay, but hey, I still haven't finished the albatross video. And then here I am making like 5 other videos at the same time, and it'll all come out soon, TM. Yeah, anyways, so yeah, that'll cover it for today's episode. Nice and simple, just going over what I've done, what I'm doing, what I'm planning, the stuff that's arrived in the post, all of that really cool stuff. Yeah, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed if you're not, go check out my Patreon if you can, that'd be super helpful. And as always, I've been Chaos, and until next time, expect the unexpected, and I will see you guys later. See ya. And a special thank you to all my patrons that help support the channel. If you would also like to support the channel, there's a link in the description.